Hey, what is up guys, DRC3 here, back with another My Hero Ultra Impact video, and today we're going to be doing the showcase for the free-to-play Twice, my boy Twice. If you know, you know. Let's take a look at his kit and his skills and where I have him at. So he is level 120 out of level 120, which is the highest an SR character can go. I do not have his advanced leveling done, and I do not have his basic board completely done. His basic board is up to board 9, which is as far as the orbs will take you. So he is going to still be fairly strong, and I'm excited to see how strong he actually is. Let's go ahead and take a look at his skills. His plus ultra move is called Measuring Tape Whip. It deals 500% damage to a single opponent. Also gives character ability to make a last stand 2 times, letting him tank just like the UR Twice does. His first action skill is called Twice Rowing. It deals 250% damage to a single opponent. Gives character a barrier that nullifies 1 hit, which is really nice. Also gives character the ability to cover allies for 1 turn, which is very nice as well. And a cooldown time of 4 just to top it all off. Very, very nice action skill for that first action skill. His second action skill is called Duplication. It increases the plus ultra gauge of all ally League of Villains characters by 20%, restores characters HP by 30%. However, this one has a cooldown time of 5, which isn't as great, especially if you know anything about SR characters. Whenever we do SR character showcases, typically we're looking at them for PvE purposes because you're not going to use SR characters in PvP. And when it comes to PvE, the biggest PvE event there is VE Tower, where you want 5 to 6 turn clears. So when you have an action skill with a 5 turn cooldown, it makes it hard to get all of your skill chains. So him having a cooldown time of 5 is not ideal, but I can still see him working out to some degree with your 6 turn clears and being fairly decent. And not to mention, he is probably the best villain support character in the game right now, as we don't have a real good UR villain support character. Now here's the tricky part about Twice though, is his auto skills. His auto skills are something else. So Where I Belong is his first auto skill. Once per battle, increases character's plus ultra gauge by 100% when HP is below 30%. That's phenomenal, that's really, really good. Increases critical hit rate of all allies by 15% if Himika Toga is on the team. This is the tricky part. You're going to want that increase in crit rate by 15% for your allies, but you have to have Toga on the team, and the Togas that are in the game, the URs, the SRs, all of the Togas, have not the greatest cooldowns. They have cooldowns of 5 or 6 turns, depending on which Toga you're looking at. So that really limits how much you can get this boost of crit rate during a VE Tower run. Now, you could put Toga on a sub slot and get away with it, but in this case, I'm not going to, and I'll show you why when we get to the showcase. His next auto skill is called Do It For The League. It increases power of all allies by 10% if Tomura Shigaraki is on the team. That's really good, increasing the power of all allies. Like I said, he is one of the best villain support units, but then you come with the really steep stipulation once again of having Shigaraki on the team. Luckily, we have a brand new SR Shigaraki that I would say is very, very decent and very good for VE Tower. So you could potentially run him on the team with Twice, or like I said, with Toga, you could just throw him in a sub slot. It really depends on what type of team you're building. In my case, I'm keeping him on the main slot for this demonstration. And then the second part of this auto skill increases skill impact of all allies by 20% if Dabi is on the team. Dabi is not really a detriment. Dabi is actually a good character to have here, and increasing the skill impact of all allies by 20% is amazing, since the UR Dabi is good and we actually have some halfway decent SR Dabis as well. But a lot of steep stipulations with the team you have to run with Twice basically to get all of his benefits. So since he has his second action skill that increases the plus ultra gauge of all villains, I thought, why not run him with all villains and see if we can do something a little cheeky. And you'll see what that is here in a second. So let's go ahead and hop into this showcase. All right, so we are going to be targeting Rappa first. This is double S difficulty of the critical stage VE Tower. We are going to be doing Twice's Duplication action skill first, which is going to increase the plus ultra gauge of all ally League of Villains and restore his own health. I know it might seem weird to use this first because we would want to save it to restore his health, but I'm actually more worried about getting the extra plus ultra gauge raise, which is going to be very nice. All right, so we're going to do this. Then we're going to do Toga's Just To Be Me, which is going to increase her crit rate and plus ultra gauge as well. And then we're going to do Shigaraki's Downfall, which has a low chance to fear the enemy and also increases his own plus ultra gauge. And then I also didn't mention that Twice's second action skill counts as a technical hit, which is very good as well. We need to take a look before we go ahead and press turn start at all the buffs that Twice is giving, because he should be giving us crit rate up, he should be giving us power up, and he should be giving us skill impact up. So let's take a look at Shigaraki just for a reference. So Shigaraki's critical hit rate right now is 75%, which is just ridiculous. So he would normally have 60% right now. He's getting an extra 15% from Twice being on the team. So he is in fact empowering Shigaraki's crit. He has power up by 10%, which is the 10% from Shigaraki being on the team that comes from Twice's passive. And then he should also have skill impact up by 20%, which he does from having Dabi on the team in a sub slot. So there you go. All those things are boosted. We should see the same thing for Toga and the same thing for Twice, because it does not exclude himself. So skill impact up by 20%, critical hit rate up by 45% for Toga, and power up by 20% for Toga. And then power up by 18% for Twice, critical hit rate up by 30%, which is very nice, and then skill impact up by 20%. So all three characters, just to show you guys, do have all those buffs, which makes it easier to potentially use villain SR characters because they have more damage and more survivability. Alright, so let's go ahead and attack Rappa. Alright, there's our plus ultra gauge up, and ooh, we got a double fear. Massive from Shigaraki. I feel like this might turn into a little bit more of a showcase for Shigaraki, but they just work so well together. Look at this, we got turn 2 plus ultras across the board. That is the thing that is really unique about Twice, is he has the ability to raise all allies plus ultra gauge, and then these other two raise their own plus ultra. So it's really interesting when you put all these villains together, and I think that is really cool to have turn 2 plus ultras. It makes it almost possible to do this in 5 to 6 turns, but it's not fully possible, and you'll see why here in a second. Let's go ahead and use our plus ultras. We'll watch all the plus ultra animations through so you guys can see all of them. Shigaraki's. No crit, no fear, unfortunately. Let's see if we get a crit with Twice. 19,000, no crit again. I feel like we should be getting more crits with our crit up, but surprisingly we're not. Okay, we did get a bleed there though, which is nice. And let's just double check. Shigaraki should still have an insane amount of crit. Yeah, 75%. So we should be hitting some crits here sooner or later. This action skill with Twice is going to deal 250% damage and give him a barrier. And then it's also going to give him the ability to cover allies, so hopefully they won't attack Shigaraki or Toga this turn. Alright, we got the crit with Toga, which is nice. Perfect, and he did cover allies, which is amazing. Now here comes the problem with having this type of team, with having Twice on your team, and that is that, as you can see, we are on turn 4, and we have no action skills whatsoever, and I don't think we'll have any action skills until around turn 5 or 6, which really sucks. So now we're just kind of sitting ducks, but the first 3 turns, phenomenal. I could see this team being good in the other VE towers where you got to clear them in 3 turns, maybe, but it'd still be hard to hit max damage, which would be the difficult part of it. Right, and as you can see, we're on turn 6. We finally got some action skills back. We will be able to do these. It'll probably take 7 turns, so this could potentially be a 7-turn clear team. I don't think we actually kill Muscular right here, even though we want to. So we do that. And then we have Toga's plus ultra. 21,000, no bleed from her. And she is dead. Dabi has come out. We do have both plus ultras here. But this is the problem that I was telling you guys about. While Twice looks very, very good, he just has really steep stipulations on how to run him, the characters you have to run him with, and overall, I think he's just going to be a difficult free-to-play character to use. I don't see a ton of value to him like I did with Shigaraki in PvE. Now, there could be an argument for him to be useful in PvP as a tank, but I think there's still just better options for tanks, and realistically, you're never going to, if you get up to the higher ranks of PvP, you're never going to use an SR character. Alright, so let's go ahead and finish this up. Get a nice little burn there. Maybe Shigaraki gets the fear this time. Nope. Let's see if Twice can hit a crit finally. Nope, but 35,000 damage. You can't say Twice doesn't do decent damage for being a tank as well, and being a support unit. He does. I think this Twice has like a phenomenal kit. He does damage, he tanks, you know, he supports the allies that he has on his team. I just wish it wasn't like character specific, that you had to have specific villain characters on your team. If it was just villains in general and you got those boosts, that would be phenomenal. 34,000 damage from Twice's action skill. Like, look at that. He is so strong. But once again, we face the problem of we just don't have action skills now. So, while I want to love this Twice, while I feel bad for my boy Twice, during this showcase, I feel like he just wasn't able to perform as well as some other SR units do. Look at that. It took us 9 turns to do this VE tower. He wasn't able to protect Toga when it mattered because he can only draw aggro for 1 turn as a tank. I feel like he has a lot of good ideas behind him. I like the character specific stuff that he has built into his kit. I would like to see more of that in the game, and I think this was kind of a test run for the developers to see how people felt about it. But I think it needs to have better effects, like where he could cover for 2 turns, or where perhaps our crit rate is up by 20% for a certain amount of turns after a certain stipulation is met, besides having the character on the team. I don't know. There's various things they could do to have made this Twice better. And overall, I feel like while he is very good, like his kit looks really good, he's good with specific characters, it's going to be hard to run these specific characters unless you have a very specific scenario in mind where you can use Twice. Anyways, guys, that was the showcase for him. If you guys enjoyed the video, please go down there, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave me some comments. Peace.